Tom and Jerry stars Chloë Grace Moretz and Michael Peña as event planners of one of New York City's finest hotels for a very important wedding. Meanwhile, Tom tries to hunt for Jerry when he moves into the hotel, forcing the event planner to hire Tom to try to get rid of him. But unfortunately, things don't go to plan at all. As you can imagine. Now, Tom and Jerry has been with me through childhood for as long as I can remember. I remember like kicking back in the summer holidays and watching like every episode, every season of the show because I used to have it on DVD or like I think I had a VHS tape because we only had a VCR back in the day. But anyway, as soon as I heard that there was going to be a Tom and Jerry movie, I was like, what was the point? Did we really need a Tom and Jerry movie? And even though I wouldn't say that I hated it, like a lot of other people, especially those super critical movie critics, I just didn't mind it. But I still feel like they didn't really need to make a movie about it. Like, I just feel like it follows other live action adaptations such as Lion King, where you really didn't need it. It felt more like a cash grab and generally more aimed towards the kids of today. Because I can tell you right off the bat that I was a bit unsure of the kind of live action format of this movie. I feel like a fully cartoon one would have been much better because there would have been a stronger focus on Tom and Jerry. Whereas in this one, it tended to focus more on the actors most of the time. Whereas, in the cartoon, it would always put Tom and Jerry at the center of the action. So I feel like this point alone would just sway people to viewing this movie more negatively. But with it being live action, it was only kind of live action for like all the animals. It was like a world where all the animals were animated and then all the people were like real actors. And even though like for the most part it kind of looked like, especially towards the beginning, it kind of looked really fake and really weird at first because it was kind of like, well, not to say that there were a lot of movies in the past that were in the same formats, but having not viewed one in a long time, it just looked weird at first. But I do respect the amount of effort that the animators took to like animate a lot of things in this movie to make it actually look pretty good, because even though, like I said, I thought it looked kind of weird at first, like eventually I thought it looked pretty darn good, like the effects and everything. And at first I did doubt the movie, but the more I watched it, the more I actually found myself kind of enjoying it. Chloë Grace Moretz, like, even though we don't really learn too much about her character wasn't the most interesting. I still enjoyed her performance and her chemistry, like, between her and Tom and Jerry, because we see that a lot. I tend to think, like, what would the behind the scenes version of this movie would be, like technically it'd just be her talking to like nobody, like maybe a statue or something. Like, I thought her performance was pretty darn good in that aspect. And Michael Peña, the guy who was despised Chloë Grace Moretz's character and acted as kind of the villain in a way. I thought he acted pretty funny in the movie, especially that scene where he was swept away in this kind of like animal tornado, as he puts it. There was an effect on him that felt like it could have been an effect for like when Jerry smashes Tom like with a hammer, and then he just looks all funny. Yeah, that was actually, I actually had a good laugh at that. And it was nice to see kind of references that kind of relate back to the original cartoon. We got to see a lot of characters that were seen in the cartoon, such as Spike, the dog of the couple, and also the gangster alley cats as well, like Butch and his pals. That was funny to see. But I guess my real problem with this movie is that there's not enough Tom and Jerry, and that the whole story, like the whole movie, focuses and revolves around a story that's trying to be too much. Like, it's centered around this couple, right? And this wedding, and the third act is just all focused on trying to make this wedding work. And to be honest, I didn't really find myself caring that much about it at all. I only cared about Tom and Jerry and their relationship between Chloë Grace Moretz and Michael Peña's characters, because I thought their interactions between each other was kind of funny and cool to watch. But that was it. I mean, I wish I got to see more of Tom and Jerry, but at the same time, I did like how this film kind of stayed true to the original cartoon, you know. It's not just Tom, or it's not just Tom chasing after Jerry, trying to kill him, and them hating each other. You know, sometimes it's like, it's about friendship as well, and we saw that develop throughout this movie. You know, it's not just Tom trying to beat Jerry or the other way around. You know, we see them become friends at some points, then enemies again, but then ultimately friends again. So that was really nice to see. And just like the cartoons, it was kind of fun to see like some of the tricks that they would pull on each other as well. And some of them, if I'm not mistaken, were the same tricks that they pulled like in the cartoon as well. Like, we got to see them again, you know. And by tricks, I mean like how Jerry outsmarts Tom, and also how Tom tries to capture Jerry, and also their shenanigans with Spike. Look, overall, Tom and Jerry, it's not going to be the best movie you'll ever see, like, not for a long shot, but I think you'll get more out of it if you used to watch Tom and Jerry, the cartoon. I'm going to give Tom and Jerry a C+. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Like and sub if you enjoyed, and as always, feel free to check out any of my previous videos. Until next time.